Hi there, I'm Fearghus Ó Conchúir. I'm a choreographer and dance artist, and I was a Clore Fellow in 2005. Some of you will have heard me talk about Fleadership in the past. The idea of Fleadership was inspired by Charles Handy's book, The Elephant and the Flea, in which I recognized myself as the small, mobile transmitter of viral material with the ability to irritate the elephant organizations to change direction. So much of my career and the value that I feel I bring is based on hopping flea mobility. I've collected experiences and knowledge in one place that I've shared elsewhere, making connections for others that I hope create opportunities for them. And as a dance artist, part of that ability to connect is about embodied experience. It's not just about ideas read in a book or seen in a film. It's knowledge generated through embodied experience that I've gathered from others into my body and can pass on authentically from my body to another's. In truth, I've tried to be as contagious as possible. What happens to all of that now when the crisis is one of contagion and the remedy for people's survival is isolation? I've appreciated the speed with which many big organizations have created conditions of safety for the people they work with, and the swift adaptability of many independent artists in responding to crisis. That speed is necessary to ensure people survive the traumatic shock of lives turned upside down, of lives cut short. I felt that speed myself in a busy schedule of Zoom meetings and invitations to help plan for life after. But since that initial rush, my sense is that speed is no longer helpful, at least not helpful to me. I can't rush to solve this. Rushing won't solve it, especially since I, for one, don't yet know what this is. And I need to really experience this reality a bit longer so that I can have some hope of contributing to a response in a useful way. That kind of waiting can make us feel vulnerable when we no longer imagine ourselves actively shaping reality but waiting for it to shape us. The truth is that we've always been in a dance of interdependence. At least a dance that at its best is a beautiful improvisation where it's not clear and doesn't matter who or what is leading and who or what is following. But because we've imagined ourselves leading so much, being independent, it's time for us to practice following a bit more to regain that beautiful balance of interdependence. So it's a moment of listening for me, and I'm fortunate to be part of networks where people have experiences already of how to navigate elements of this crisis. I'm thinking of disabled friends and colleagues, many of whom, as Jo Verrant pointed out in her blog post for The Space recently, have intimate knowledge of the hacks you need now, both practically and emotionally. Many of us, she says, have experienced isolation, worked extensively from home, managed fatigue, and have techniques in place to keep working whilst not functioning at 100%. Those of us who are not disabled need to listen to that experience. I'm listening to friends in China who have experienced lockdown ahead of us in Europe and who have had a chance to reflect ahead of us what that experience does to people, what seems important to them now that they emerge tentatively from lockdown. And I'm also tapping into the experience of a generation of gay men, like me, who survived the initial devastation of the AIDS crisis. For a moment, it seemed like AIDS taught us that physical intimacy wasn't safe. Fortunately, greater knowledge subsequently taught us how to be intimate again, perhaps cautiously at first, but with increasing freedom, as pharmaceutical solutions offer protection to many now. Of course, the AIDS epidemic, like coronavirus, has shown us that risk is not distributed equally, that inequalities of life experience mean some are made more vulnerable than others by the unequal societies in which we live. And we know from the AIDS crisis that solidarities of people coming together to fight inequality, to offer practical and emotional support, built the kinds of resilience and enabled the kind of change that has stopped HIV infection from being a death sentence. So this is a moment of perceiving, of listening, registering, reflecting. And that work is not isolated or isolating. What there is to learn comes from others, through others. and my work of leadership for now is to follow. Take care.